I had bad feelings about a guy my girlfriend met, and I was right, but my trust is already destroyed. I want to write this out because it's the only way I can process it right now. She's texting me and I can't look at my phone. We've been together for a while. She's someone I genuinely trust, or trusted, and I say that because I need you to understand that I'm not someone who gets jealous easily or looks for problems. I'm not the guy who scrolls through his girlfriend's phone. When she has guy friends, I don't make it into a thing. That context matters for what I'm about to describe. She went to a party a few weeks ago with two of her friends. She's shy, genuinely, not performatively. The kind of person who usually stands at the edge of a gathering and doesn't really know how to break in. She came home that night genuinely lit up in a way I hadn't seen in a while. She'd met people, made new friends. She was excited and I was happy for her. She told me about all of them, including this one guy. How he'd been looking at her all night. How he'd been playful with her, kept messing around, and at some point had carried her around on his back. She described him as hilarious and awesome, and the kind of person who just has this energy that pulls you in. I listened, kept my face even, told myself it was fine. She gave him her number. They became friends. I accepted it. The next day she told me he'd texted her 70 messages. 70. Not a typo. 70 individual messages over the course of one day, including random letter spam and a 7-minute voice note in which he apparently talked about both of his exes and how much working out had changed his body. I told her, as calmly as I could manage, that this wasn't friendly behavior. That a guy who texts someone 70 times on day one and sends unprompted voice notes about his physical transformation is not just being friendly. I said she should be a little careful and keep some distance. She said I was being paranoid. Over the next few days I brought it up in different ways, trying to find the framing that would land. Each time she had a reason I was wrong. He's just like that. He's an extrovert. He does this with everyone. Some of her defenses of him were more detailed and more certain than anything she'd ever said defending me in an argument. I noticed that. I didn't say it out loud, but I noticed it. Something in me cracked during that stretch. Not dramatically. There was no single moment. It was more like a slow erosion, the kind where everything looks fine on the surface but you can feel the ground shifting under you. It got worse when I asked if we could get on a call and actually talk through things properly. She said she was too busy and kept saying it over several days. Then she casually mentioned she'd been on the phone with a friend for 30 minutes. Not hiding it, just said it like it was nothing. I sent her a long message, told her our relationship wasn't something I was willing to treat as a second priority. The call wasn't the point. The point was the pattern. We had a long conversation, a real one. Things settled and she seemed to genuinely understand why it had hurt. I believed her. I wanted to believe her. Then she said she wanted me to meet the guy, and I figured it was better to do it than not. He was exactly what she described. Funny, easy to be around, the kind of person who fills up a room without trying. And I want to be honest, meeting him made everything harder, not easier, because I could see clearly why she'd been drawn in, and I had to stand there and be normal about it. My trust coming back after all of that was slow. Like physical therapy, you do the work and eventually you function again, but you're aware of the injury in a way you weren't before. Today she texted me a screenshot. He had messaged her, said she always made him feel amazing and comfortable, said he had a lot of feelings for her, said he felt bad about it because she had a boyfriend and he respected that, said he was cutting contact so he could move on. She forwarded it and said, "You were right. I'm so sorry." I said, "I know." I sat with that for a while because it's such a strange thing to be validated on something you genuinely wished you'd been wrong about. I didn't want to be right. I wanted her to have a fun new friend. I wanted to be the guy who was secure enough to not make it a thing. Instead, I spent weeks being made to feel like I was paranoid, like my instincts were the problem, like the work of being in a relationship with me was managing my irrational jealousy. And now the thing I said was happening was confirmed in writing, and she's sorry, and I believe that she is. But sorry doesn't undo the weeks I spent questioning my own instincts. It doesn't take back the arguments where I was the unreasonable one. It doesn't uncrack the thing that cracked. Being right doesn't fix that part. I don't know what does yet.